Willie D Live.
What's up, family? We got some breaking news. Cuba is planning to attack the US. Yeah, man, that's what I said. Who believes that? Give me a thumbs up if you really believe that Cuba is planning to attack the US, specifically Key West. Yeah, Key West. Give me a thumbs up if you believe that. Thumbs down if you say, no, Willie D. Sound like propaganda to me. Yeah, man, get out of here. But for the sake of argument, I'll read the report. Here it is. This is per investing.com. U.S. weighs intelligence on Cuba drone attack possibility. Cuba has acquired over 300 military drones and has recently begun discussing possible plans to deploy them against the U.S. base at Guantanamo Bay, U.S. military vessels, and potentially Key West, Florida, according to a report from Axios, citing classified intelligence shared with them. This update follows CIA Director John Ratcliffe's visit to Cuba on Thursday, where he warned the government against engaging in hostilities and pressed the country to end sanctions against the U.S. A senior U.S. official is reported to have said that the intelligence reveals the extent to which Cuba is viewed as a threat, given developments in drone warfare, as well as the presence of Iranian military advisors in Havana. When we think about those types of technologies being that close and a range of bad actors, from terror groups to drug cartels to Iranians to Russians, it's concerning, the official is quoted as having said. Before the meeting with Ratcliffe, President Trump had indicated that the U.S. was getting ready to enter into talks with the country, even as it struggles with a worsening economic crisis. Cuba is asking for help, and we're going to talk, he had posted on Truth Social. Why do people say he had posted? You know, like when you're communicating, the idea is to use enough words, just the amount of words that are necessary to make your point. They did not have to say he had. Sorry, fam, that's one of those things that kind of irks me, you know. But anyway, moving on. Family, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm going to tell you what I think is happening. I think this is just an excuse, some narrative that they will use so that they can bomb on Cuba. Remember, this is the same play that they ran with Iran. It's always this threat, you know, this major threat from somewhere. It's always a threat that has never really been proven. We're still talking about we're at war with Iran because of these phantom nuclear warheads. What the hell is going on, fam? See, they're going to keep running this play into the ground, this propaganda play into the ground, until somebody finally says, no matter what you say, we're not going to believe you. It don't matter how you put it out there, we're just not going to believe it. Collectively, we do not believe you. They're going to just keep running the same play over and over and over again. Every time they run one of these plays, it's always about humanitarian relief. We're going to save the people because this leader is so diabolical that he's harming his own people. He's murdering, he's killing his own people. We got to do something about it. We got to save them. My question is, who's going to save us? Because we're being slaughtered over here. Who's going to save us? We just, see, I know some of y'all saying, we'll go over here. You know, it's way better over here. You really think so? We're meeting a slow death compared to those somewhere else that you might see get lined up and gunned down by the government, right? The government has mandated for police officers to be able to kill with impunity. And so you see every day the police is killing another U.S. citizen. They're gunning down U.S. citizens who are almost always unarmed. And their protection is, I thought. That's their excuse. I thought. That's their defense. I thought. I feared for my life. I can say right now that I fear for my life and walk out the door and go kill my neighbor. Y'all think I'm gonna get away with that? Y'all think if I went outside right now and started arguing with my neighbor, and my neighbor just decided to stick his hand in his pockets, that I could pull my gun out and shoot him because I feared for my life? You think I can get away with that? Homie, don't think so. So I think that Trump is trying to come up with an excuse to bomb on Cuba. Cuba is not going to try to invade or attack Key West. They're not going to attack Miami. They're not going to attack New York, Chicago, LA, Saginaw, Michigan. They ain't gonna do nothing. Those people over there are starving right now. Ever since Trump imposed that oil blockade on Cuba, it's been lights out, literally, fam. The people are over there in the dark. They're in the dark. They're starving. People are struggling. They're barely holding on. But they out there, they got money for nukes. I mean, they got money for drones, 300 drones. And what is 300 drones going to do anyway? Oh, that's like pinching an elephant. You don't even feel it. Yeah, ain't no way Cuba is going to attack the U.S. unless Cuba already got something over there waiting for the U.S. They got something over there waiting. That's the only way. And I couldn't see why some of these countries don't have something over there waiting, because ain't no way my enemy is going to tell me, going to announce publicly that what they're going to do to me and when they're going to do it. Give me a timeline. Yeah, as soon as we get through over here, we're going to go over here. There ain't no way. Yeah, man, I'm getting myself together. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, man, that's not going to happen. I already know you're my enemy, so I'm ready for you anyway. But if I start hearing you talk about it and you threatening it, okay. Yeah, that's how that go. Yeah, I don't believe this for 1 second. I do not believe this for 1 second. Manufactured classified intelligence by the U.S. government is nothing new. This has been going on forever. Making up your own excuses to try to start another invasion. This is nothing new. This is an old play. And it's always a play. It's always a play. So they always got to have an angle. And the idea is to always really invoke fear in U.S. citizens. Because U.S. citizens, we talk about how brave we are and how tough we are, but really collectively, we some scary motherfuckers. We really scary. Because all they got to do is spook us. And we get scared enough to say, we give them a pass. What they're trying to do is, since a lot of Americans are against the war right now, and they're also absolutely against invading Cuba, they need an excuse. They need an excuse. They need something that will convince Americans or make Americans comfortable in them going there to invade Cuba. They need something to make Americans comfortable. And so they got to make up something. Let's tell them Cuba plan on attacking us. And they got a lot of dummies out there. It's a lot of them. They be like, hey, they were going to attack us. Hey, better them than us. Hey, man, you know. And it just goes to show you how sick people are. These people call themselves decent, but they're really rotten to the core. They're really, really devils. Yeah, real devils. Because how can you be okay with somebody upending people's lives, innocent people's lives, people who ain't done nothing to them, but you cool with them upending their lives, destroying people's lives, killing people? You cool with that because in your mind, better them than us. That's it. Better them than us. Anything to maintain power, anything for us to stay in power and keep on having a good life for us, if everybody else. This is why if I'm one of those other countries, I don't trust the US. I wouldn't trust the US as far as I could throw it, because the US, when you look at all of its conflict internationally, you can say to yourself, without a doubt, every single foe, every single enemy America has ever had was once its friend. That's a poor record. Think about that, family. And I actually see some dudes move like that right now, especially in the entertainment industry. I look around at some of these dudes, and every person that they got a problem with, they were once super cool with. They were once best friends with. Every single person. They fall out with everybody they've done business with. They fall out with everybody that they once called a friend. I would try to avoid that type of person by any means. I would not befriend somebody like that. I would never, ever, ever confuse that person with being a friend. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.